Dear ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today, also on behalf of the entire Renewable Carbon Initiative. I'm Svenja Dahl from Nova Institute, and today here I'm with Christopher von Berg, a sustainability expert, also from Nova. He is deputy head of the Nova Department Economy and Policy, and holds a master degree of Natural Resource Management and Ecological Engineering of the University of Natural Resources and Life Science of Vienna. Hello, Christopher.
Hi, good morning, Svenja.
Last time we heard a lot about the founding and the motivation, the motivation founding the Renewable Carbon Initiative from our CEO, Michael Carus. But today I would like to know what are the differences between renewable carbon and the widely accepted concept of decarbonization? Christopher, what do you?
Oh, good question. Okay, first of all, decarbonization, the term itself, it usually comes from the energy sector. So when you talk about decarbonization, what the energy sector is trying to do is they try to get rid of carbon-containing fuels, which is gasoline, oil, crude oil, then transformed to gasoline or diesel and whatever. Then second, the IPCC, they developed or improved it a little in 2018 with widening the scope to say they aim to achieve zero fossil carbon existence. But the issue with both words is with both terms is that it's very good to talk about it in the energy sector, but once you move out of the energy sector and you talk about chemicals and materials, you have the organic chemical sector, and the whole sector is based on carbon as the main building block. So in that sense, you cannot use the term decarbonization, which simply means get rid of carbon, in the material sector, because the whole sector, also all living organisms, they are built and based on carbon. So you cannot say the idea to get rid of carbon is just wrong. And that's where we come in with the idea of renewable carbon, where we clearly acknowledge there is a need for carbon, but that carbon should no longer be fossil, because fossil carbon itself brings a lot of issues, and the most prominent one is, of course, leading to climate change. So what we try to do is we have the renewable carbon idea, and that is alternative carbon sources. We have three: from biomass, from CO2 utilization, and from recycling, and those replace fossil carbon for the chemical and material sector.
Okay, thank you for this explanation. And the term renewable, you said in your concept, is often equated to sustainability. But what role does renewable carbon play in the context of ecological, economic, and social sustainability?
So first of all, I would reject the idea that renewable means sustainable. If you talk about renewable in its first sense, it means to be renewed. So whatever you had, you just renew it, so it's the same again at the beginning. When you talk about sustainability, it in principle means that it is maintained at a certain level, or the most prominent definition is that we as a generation meet our own needs without compromising future generations to meet their needs. So renewable and sustainable is not the same. That's very, very, very urgent to understand, important for people to understand. But what renewable is in the wider sense, looking at sustainability, it's a guiding principle. So when we say what people need to understand is fossil carbon is not a valid strategy for the future. We need to get rid of fossil carbon, because else we will just increase the amount of carbon, CO2, that gets released to the atmosphere over the long run. So we have to stop using fossil carbon, and then renewable carbon is the guiding principle in that idea towards sustainability. Renewable carbon is not per se sustainable, but it is the pathway we need to go. And once you accept that renewable carbon is the pathway to go, you can then look at the different alternatives and figure out which of the renewable carbon options I have is, in the specific case, the most sustainable one.
Many thanks, Christopher. And what was the political response to your concept? Because it sounds very new to me, and I guess it's also new for the politicians.
Yeah, okay. So far, I would say the political response to the concept was very little. It's also, when you go back a little in history, I think Nova Institute has been arguing in pushing the material perspective more into focus on legislation and regulation in the past, and not a lot of that has been picked up. But that said, I think at the moment there is increasing interest in also discussions on European level on the renewable carbon idea and the concept. And that is pushed very heavily by, we do have momentum on the idea. We have many strong partners and members who support the idea and also push the idea. And there is certainly interest, and we have started sitting down with people on the European level from the Parliament and Commission and discussed with them what is the idea, what is the concept. So there is increasing interest, I would say, but so far there was no clear or certain political response to the concept.
Okay, and when it comes to the situation that you sit together with decision makers, what would you demand from the perspective of Renewable Carbon Initiative to them?
Yeah, okay, first of all, I would say they should just hear us out. Just we have a very strong and good idea. No, I mean it. I think the idea is very sound. It has been discussed a lot in the past already. We've worked on that for a couple of years. There are some pitfalls and difficulties with biomass, and that it's the food versus feed discussion. That's all true, but I do think we have a very strong case here, and we have very strong arguments. And so far, in the end, everybody we discussed the idea with agreed that it's the right way to go forward. So first of all, the best thing to start with is people from the Commission, from the Parliament, or European legislation maker, policy maker. Just talk with us, discuss the idea, understand the concept, hear us out. And then as a second step, which is a little urgent, because at the moment we have the European Green Deal and the new Circular Economy Action Plan. So there is a lot going on in terms of being more strict on our climate change goals, on the climate targets. And there will be a lot of stuff happening in the next couple of months and years in the European legislation. So I think if policymakers understand the concept, then that would be a good opportunity to use the current momentum, both of the renewable carbon idea and what is happening at European legislation at the moment, to use that momentum then to start implementing the renewable carbon concept also in upcoming regulatory frameworks or revisions of existing framework.
Okay, many thanks. I hope this will work. And
me too.
Thank you very much, Christopher, for this very nice and informative talk. And of course,
welcome.
And of course, I would also like to thank our viewers out there for joining us today. And dear viewers, if you're now interested on our members, our strategy, or the entire Renewable Carbon Initiative, please note the web address in the final credits of this video. Thanks again to Christopher and to you, and I'm looking forward if you tune in next time. Bye-bye.